Hi everybody, welcome back to Spruverse, my scale model universe, and here we are in the final segment of Build Eagle 2 from Round 2 MPC. It's the 22-inch version. So without further ado, let's dive into the segment because I've got a tremendous amount of build in this and I want to get right to it. I hope you enjoy the sort of the revamped version of production here. We're getting a lot more of the builds in the show now. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Okay, we are getting dangerously close to the end of the tunnel here. So much has been going on, you know, and it's the devil is in the details, as they say. And so let me just sort of tell you a little bit about what I've been doing. So I'm adding color now to the various elements, and then I'll start applying loose masks. And when you read the directions to loose masks, you'll realize that there's a tremendous amount of creative opportunities here. You know, you're not stuck, you know, trying to make something canon, because the truth of the matter is the way those models were filmed, you know, just different shades of whites really, and who knows what they really look like. And even when you've got photographs of the originals, there's still so much going on with studio lighting and the way those cameras, high-speed cameras, they were probably using 16mm high-speed cameras. But anyway, I just think the most important thing is that you have fun. And you know, if you want to go to the lengths that I'm going to sort of create these various different shadows and shades, your model's just going to look amazing. So anyway, let me let's get a little closer here to the action. In fact, I can get even closer than that because I want to point out something here. So I've been misting these various different panels with different shades of blues and whites and grays, very light, you know. And the idea here is that what's going to happen is that once you've done all of this sort of various different paneling, now we're going to go ahead and start picking out some of his masks. And he gives you so much flexibility. It's just awesome. And the clarity of his instructions, extraordinary. So great fun to use. And I thought it might be a good idea for us to sort of do a little bit of this on camera here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull out some of these masking panels that I can see that I've got. Like I've got this one here, so I'm going to go for it and carefully find a corner, just very carefully, because sometimes the vinyl doesn't want to come up. Be gingerly with it. Don't rush it. And then what you'll do is you'll cover the piece that you want to mask, and there's a right way and a wrong way, so make sure that you check which way is your right way and your wrong way and cover those. Now the object of the exercise here is that we cover all the various different elements now, and then we give it another coat of paint to clean up, get it a little crisper. And then we can actually go to final, and when we go to final, that is when we give it a final dusting of our final coat of paint. And that's a good thing, because what we're trying to do is give it various different shades and have it feel like it's been worn, it's in space. It's not going to be a perfectly clean model. Now you can certainly go with a perfectly clean model, because nothing you see here is written in stone. It's just all out of my goofy head. But I gotta tell you, the amount of satisfaction that I get out of watching these works of art, and I do consider them works of art, come to life, is awesome. And so that's what we're doing here. We're just sort of plowing through, picking out various different panels. Now, he does tell you in his instructions, Mr. Domeso, just want to let you know I know how to say his name now. Won't be butchering it anymore. Sorry, Lou. But on go the masks, and he does tell you very clearly in his instructions that they are to be used several times, so be careful with them, and they'll just lift right up and you can move them around. But of course, if you're like me and you buy 2 packs of these, you're in a slightly better shape. But honestly, guys, that's why I do it. But there's absolutely no reason why you should have to. But if you want to, go ahead, buy 2, 3, 4 packs and stimulate the economy. If you don't want to, then 1 is perfectly fine, and the model will be finished beautifully with 1 set, I assure you. So I just want to show you again what I'm doing, so you can see all the masks are going on. I'm going to keep on going here, and I'm going to get this masked up. And once we've got it masked up, then I'm going to give it another coat of white, and that'll be just to sort of crisp it in, and these panels will start to punch. And then I can start mixing and matching which ones I want to bring down, which ones I want to add various other elements to, because I've got so many different shapes here that I can really start to hone in on the details of what I'm paneling. So I'm going to plow ahead here, and then we'll show you what that looks like. I'm just masking everything up, and while I was sitting here, I thought to myself, you know, it might be worth putting a little bit of this on tape, only because you know, seldom do we see this part of it, but it is fun, and boy, does it make life so much easier when you can just put these masks down. And the quality of the work too, because prior to ever knowing about Lou's masks, you just spent days, or I spent days anyway, masking everything off piece by piece, and you know, just trying very hard to get everything square, and you know, and then you're constantly touching things up, and that is a real challenge too. So we are always looking for great ways to make this hobby of ours a little less stressful and a little more fun. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of guys out there who have no problem masking, and they're really good at it. And there's a couple of companies. There's a company called I don't know if it's the company, but there's a product called Infini, and they're cutting boards, and you can cut all kinds of shapes on them, and they do work. But I don't find them as efficient, I have to be honest. I find it you are 1000% reliant on having a super sharp blade. I mean, I'm swapping, I don't know about you, but I've got more number 11 X-Acto blades in my stash, not my stash, but my toolkit, than I care to. I learned a long time ago that you can never have ever have enough blades. Okay, I just got one more of these to do, and then all of the black areas on these thrusters will be masked off, and then the next thing I have to do is I've got to hit everything with a coat of white just to sort of get everything blended in. And then once I've got everything blended in, I will then go back, remove all of the masks, take a look at how it looks. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at that next. I want to show you this because I put this piece of loose mask down for no other reason, but I just wanted to put a couple of lines there. And in fact, I may even do one more on the other side just to keep it parallel, because that's what Virgos do. But the point is that this is just another example of having fun with your masking and your painting, you know, because first of all, this is going to be under the grid, so you won't really ever see this, but it's really fun to have these kind of shapes and ideas just sort of blended into everything. So I think that it just adds to the nuances and the details of your piece. So the masking here is almost complete. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly finish this, and then I'm going to whack this whole thing with a coat of white. Now what I have decided I'm going to do for my final blend coat is I'm going to use another insignia white. Now not the insignia white that I started with, the cooler white from Tamiya, which Lou in the comments pointed out that they don't make, Tamiya does not make their insignia white in jar form. You can only get it in the spray. But I've got another version of it here in the Model Air. You see, they call theirs insignia white, and it is almost it's almost an exact copy of it. It's just as cool in terms of temperature cool, not if cool, and it does produce a cooler white. So that will be my final coat. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit this with my Vallejo white, and hopefully get everything blended in. And so that's the plan. That's the plan on that. So we're almost ready to go here. I've got a couple of other little patches I wanna hit with some masking, just so that when we take these masks off, I really want you to see how it pops after the masks come off, and then that really gives you that lovely gradation that you're looking for. And had I, I mean, you stick with this, and it's a half an hour of your life, but it's very cathartic, at least it is to me, and ultimately the result is going to be awesome. So we are heading down the final stretch here, and let me get a coat of white on this and show you what that looks like. Things are moving along, and I thought it would be a good idea to sort of try to go through some of the progressive steps of getting the various different color combinations, and then starting to see what punches and what pops and what doesn't. Now, I'm going to take these masks off, but as I take them off, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to find some clean places in the wax backing here to just hold on to some of these things, so that I don't end up regretting a decision, I should say. Okay, here, let's get this here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove some of these masks now and take a look and see what we've got. You want to do this very gingerly. This is not the kind of thing you do fast, and you got to be careful that you're not scratching paint. Now, ideally, you get all of this off, and you want to really get a good coat of varnish on it, matte, really preferably. But anyway, I thought it'd be fun just to take a look and see what happens. Now, it's all very subtle, but it will sort of start to discolor, and you start to get all this lovely patina and patterning, and that's what we're looking for. Let me get you in close here while I take off this one here, and we'll see the color contrast, hopefully. Again, you can see there it is, and I'm going to hold on to some of these patterns so that we don't throw anything away just yet. Now, I think you can start to see here that we've got this wonderful color combination that's starting to happen, and what that will allow us to do now is to put a softer coat over this, and I think I mentioned to you I'm going to use the Vallejo Insignia White, and that will be the final. And once we've got the final on here of the Vallejo, then I can go ahead and seal all of this up with a good gloss varnish, so that I can get the rest of my decals down. And then once all the decals are down and they're sealed and they've had a chance to dry, we're going to get a matte varnish over that, and that will be the finish. So I'm going to continue to do this. I wanted to give you a taste of what's going on, and I'll sort of get everything off, and then we'll come back, we'll take a look and sort of figure out what our blending strategy will be for this. We may even do a little bit of blending on camera so that we can see that. So now we're going to do our blending coat with our Insignia White, and then we'll see where we are in terms of other patination we want. You know, how are we doing here? You can see that it's pretty harsh at the moment, but we start to get this blending coat in here, and things will really start to calm down. Now, you've got to use, I think you've got to use a dual action airbrush. The Iwata is, a go-to for me. There is a couple of other great brands out there, and everybody has their own likes and dislikes about airbrushes, but I just find the Iwata is easy to maintain. Yeah, they're a pain, they can clog, they can do all those other things, but at the end of the day, I really think you get a good result. Okay, so I'm going to start very carefully here, sort of just misting this in until I start to get just a softening of this, and I can see it already, and I'm not, I'm really keeping it light here. But wow, has that gone? That has really gone down, and that is here now. Unfortunately, in this light, you're not going to see everything that I'm seeing. But I'm going to try and do this one on camera here. I'm going to really start to see this come down. Just really soften this out here a little bit. and you can start to see it really coming down. And the beauty of this is that everything starts to sort of blend together and be one. You still get a little bit of you get a little bit of your patterning, but it's not that intense in your face. It all, and as this dries back, you'll get some of that color back in the model. But when you do this, you really are sort of creating a really nice blending effect, I feel. So I'm really happy with that. But you do get the different tonality. You can see that there's definitely something going on here. And so that's what I'm trying to achieve. And just trying to soften everything down. Now we've obviously got a long way to go here. So I'm going to continue to get this blending coat in, and then once I've got the sorry, I'm fighting for camera angle, isn't that silly? How about if you get the bottle out of the way? Anyway, I'm going to continue to blend this in, and we'll just keep on going. And then once this is blended to my satisfaction, if there's anything that needs to be punched or tweaked, I will do that then in terms of color. But then I'll lock it in with a coat of gloss varnish, and then she'll be ready for decals. So let's plow ahead. Okay, we are definitely making some headway today, and so I'm happy about that. Been doing lots and lots of decals. Decals are the sort of the thing of the day. What I'm doing now is I'm actually removing my Lou Del Meso masks from the side thrusters here. And you've got to be extra careful, and I'm always trying to be extra careful. But I'll tell you, these masks are just they're a lifesaver, and they make the whole painting process for something like this really super fun. So I just I could not be happier. Now, I don't have a perfect eye and a perfect hand, so my masks will not necessarily sit the way your masks will sit, and that's okay, because anybody who's looking at this model as close as this model is to this camera, I would say good luck to you, because I usually go by the three. I call it the 3 foot rule, right? The 3 foot rule, right? Sorry, the mouth isn't working today. As Lou likes to say, all the words are there. You grab them and put them together, and I promise you, they'll actually make a lot of sense. But anyway, so these are coming off, and that is a good thing, because then the next thing I'm going to do after I get these off is I'm going to actually install the little side thrusters. Now I should mention that everything has now gotten a blending coat of the Insignia white from Model Air, from Vallejo Model Air, not the Insignia white that I was using in the rattle can to start the beginning of the model. There are 2 versions of it, and they're actually pretty dangerously close. If you want to mix and match, the difficulty is this: remember that your spray can Insignia white from Tamiya is actually an enamel based product, and the Insignia white from Vallejo is actually an acrylic based product. Very important to to know that. Now, if you are using an acrylic varnish to seal everything, you can actually spray your acrylic on top of that and you'll be fine. And you can actually use an acrylic spray on top of the enamel if you want it as a varnish, just as a softening coat. At least I've done that with a tremendous amount of success. Sorry about that. But what I'm doing now is I'm actually going to do a little, I'm going to do some decaling now. As soon as I put these little thruster sides on, these modules will be, they'll be absolutely complete, which is awesome. So what I'm going to do here is just a little speck of the medium CA. If you're careful, you can certainly use this, and it will bite with no problem. There's a little bit of a friction fit to these things, and so they're not going anywhere. In fact, I have had no problems with that type of a gluing process. Now, you are gluing paint on paint, and that in and of itself is a nightmare, because I promise you, you just won't get a bond. So if you're doing it for something like this, you're going to be fine. If you're going to do it for something where you need a certain amount of strength, don't do it. Don't do it. Scrape your parts, or better still, mask your parts, and always leave plastic to plastic. It's the safest and the best way to go. Okay, so this is the second of the two modules, and they are all done. So I'm super happy with these. They're looking really good. They've got their blend coat on them, and now they're in desperate need of some decals. So I've got my decal sheet, my trusty decal sheet, and I will start to put the decals on my pods. And once I have the pods, once all those decals are on the pods, that's it. It's ready to assemble, and the only thing to do is to actually put the entire thing together. Now, there are going to be some issues with that, because my spine that holds the whole thing together it was slightly twisted. It never stayed perfectly flat. Now, I suspect that is operator error. In other words, I didn't put it together correctly. So it's going to be interesting to see how we get that together. Now, I am intending on screwing the thing down to the actual lab pod. I'm not going to use magnets, just because it's never going to come off of there. There's no reason to take it off of there. However, you know, whenever you can use magnets, I would use magnets, only because when you have an opportunity to actually see your work up close, or break the modules down of whatever it is you've built, to sort of showcase what you're building, I think that's definitely worth it. So now what I'm using is I've cut the sides of the boxes away, and I've got my templates. So I've got all my templates here, and they're allowing me to see where my decals should be placed. And so as long as I've got the right one, which I believe it's this one, we should be golden. Interestingly enough, not a tremendous amount of information on what to put on these pods. So you know what? I'm just going to have fun with it. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to get these things decaled up, and we will come back and we will look at all the pieces before we do the complete final assembly. So I'll get my decals on. Once my decals are on, obviously everything's going to get a coat of, now I've got gloss varnish on this, just so that my decals have something to go onto, and then I will make sure that they're good and dry, give it a matte varnish to seal everything in so I don't get any silvering, and then that's when we'll take a look at all the final sub-assemblies before I put this monster together. And it is a monster. I mean, it is an impressive piece of kit. So anyway, here we are, we're getting down to the details, and I'm also looking, I'm picking out various bits here where I perhaps can do a little more dry brushing of some silvers and stuff like that, just because you do see the tops of these, and it might be fun just to get a little hint of it on there. Don't go crazy with it, but a little hint, and I think you'll do fine. Also, I wanted to show you here, I am going to get door numbers decals on these, even though you won't see them. I'm going to put them on there. I've done a little bit of wash here to punch that door, and so I'm happy with that. But for the most part, it came together really well. I will say, in full disclosure, that there were a couple of the seam lines where the well, let me show you. Like these, I've got these little tubes. I sanded these tubes as best as I could, and tried to keep them smooth so I didn't get any sort of rough spots. But you know, in sanding these and sanding these and sanding these, some of the lines just didn't go away, even with paint. But you know, when you look at the model in total, you don't see them. I only share that with you because, you know, it's inside baseball on the channel today. So why not? Anyway, okay, I'm going to get the decals down on the front and rear landing gear pods and engine assemblies. Oh, I can show you quickly. I've got, why not? Because we're here and we can. I've got the this one all put to bed, and so it's looking really, really snuffy. I know that's not a word. Anyway, spiffy. Thank you. Anyway, it's looking really spiffy, and everything came together really well, and I'm really happy with that, and I'm super happy with all of Lou Del Meso's masks. They've created wonderful shading effects all over this, and you can see the amount of detail it's given this this kit. Amazing. Well worth it, I should say. So anyway, that is the pod center ready to go. So we'll get these decals on, as I said, get everything into a sub-assembly, and then we'll talk about how we're going to actually deal with this flex problem. I suspect what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to use some 5-minute epoxy, clamp everything down, leave it overnight, and then do the next one, and then that way it won't go anywhere. But stay tuned for that. Let's get all these decals on and look at the final sub-assemblies before we reveal the final ship. Well, we are getting ever so dangerously close here to having a finished Eagle 2, and I'm looking at it now on the bench, and it's just absolutely it's absolutely awesome. It's a thing of beauty. It really is. It's a tremendous kit, and you really don't appreciate how cool it is until you get the whole thing set up at its 22 inches. You know, I'll set that there, and I will do this just to sort of hold it so that we can see the whole thing, like there it is. And I have to say that you know, it's just been, what a pleasure to put this together, an absolute pleasure. So let me tell you where we are. It is built in sub-assemblies, as we know. The nose piece, and in all its glory, is together. All of the decals that I want to put on it are on it. I didn't go too crazy with it. I just I did a little bit of a design, and I looked at several copies of well, models of this thing, and I realized it's a little random, really. The markings are a little haphazard, but anyway, knock yourself out. There's enough decals there to make anybody crazy. I used as many as I could. I swear I did. So where we are right now is I wanted to just sort of briefly deconstruct just a little bit of this, because I think it's important to sort of discuss strategically where we are. I want to what I want to do is I want to be able to get this piece as sort of square to the top of this thing as I possibly can, and it's warped. So I'm I'm at a bit of a disadvantage. However, what I've been doing is sort of putting the pieces together and sort of judging where they go, basically in relationship to the rest of the kit. And what I've discovered is that I can get these pretty darn close, and there is an interesting sort of gappage situation that doesn't tie up to the locating pins. So clearly, guys, this is operator error. I've done something wrong in the construction, because that just shouldn't be. But it'll turn out fine, because all I have to do is take these sub-assemblies one at a time, and I'm going to epoxy them. I'll clamp each side, epoxy it, leave it overnight, and then we will be good to go. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to get everything together so that we can see this thing of beauty in all of its glory. So I'm almost there. We're almost there. I wanted to do this segment before we go to the final reveal, just because I feel like then we've really gone from beginning to end with this build. And then when we get to the final presentation, I'll put it on a bit of a lazy Susan. We can turn it around, and we can sort of talk about the pros and cons of the kit, and some of the challenges I had, and some of the things I now know how to do when I take on the Eagle One, which I intend to do. It's going to be the same build basically, except obviously your pod's going to be different. And now I'll know how to assemble most of the frames. So let me get this all together, and we'll take a look at it in its finished state. Okay. We have arrived at the end of this journey, and what a journey! So much fun. These kits, it's funny, you open the box and you see all of these parts and you start to think to yourself, how's this gonna really come together? Is it going to be a thing of beauty, or is it just going to be a train wreck? How is it going to fit? What's it going to look like? Am I going to be able to actually put this together and make it look like something halfway decent? At least that's all the stuff that runs through my head when I start a kit. But it's the exciting part of it too. I don't know why. Kid in the candy store. I will never get tired of building these kits, and I'm so happy to be back in the world of sprue. So much fun. Now, one of the things that I wanted to start with, while we're sort of on the subject here, is let's just sort of take a quick look around the model. Here she is in all her glory, and she is a thing of beauty. She's 22 inches long. If you've just joined us, this is Eagle 2 from MPC Round 2. It's the 22-inch version. There is an Eagle 1 that you can get a hold of as well, also a 22-inch, but it doesn't come with the lab pod the way this does. It actually comes with you know, a regular transport pod. The idea was obviously they were interchangeable. Brian Johnson made just incredible designs. Now this is 1/2 scale, so 1/1 scale. I mean, they were really, you know, they were sizable models, but they were filmed obviously high-speed film cameras and lots of gels and lights and smoke. And I think they really did a really good job with it, considering the technology they had at the time. This kit's not without its challenges. I had a warped spine. Now, no matter what I did to try and repair that, I couldn't get the warp out of it. I suspect it is human error. I think that if I'm not mistaken, perhaps it was the way I approached building this. You know, it comes in the 2 rails, and then it has the bars that cross over it. And I thought in my puerile brain that I would put the end bars on the lower piece first, and then the top 2 bars on, and that would set my angles. It didn't. I don't know why it didn't. But, you know, hey, all's fair in love and war. I've used the aftermarket aluminum turned engine bells, and they are terrific. And I've also used them, if I'm very careful here, and I mean very careful. Oh, sorry about that. That was not meant to happen. If I turn this baby over, I used 2 of the aluminum bells, and I used the rest in the plastic. Everything got painted with black gloss, and then silver leaf, and then I gave it a matte spray just to sort of put it all into perspective. And I have to say, I used as many of the decals as I could. It's a very, very sort of forgiving kit in terms of where you put those decals. I've looked at several production stills, and I don't know, it doesn't seem to have as many of the decals as you would think. So I don't know what's up with that. Now you can see there also I have used 2 screws to essentially hold the lab pod to the unit itself. The reason why I did that is because for the moment I didn't have any magnets to actually try a magnetization process. You know, I think I will, because the screws are ugly, to be honest with you, and they just pop. And now all I can think of in my head is those two screws. So I think that ultimately I'm going to replace the screws with magnets. I've got some on order, so that's what I'll do. Anyway, she's going to look amazing on the shelf. Now, in case some of you are saying, well, what happened to the spine booster, Phil? Where's the spine booster? You know, you talked about the spine booster. We all sent you notes about the spine booster. And I said, okay, I'll build it. So I did. I built the spine booster, and here it is. There it goes with the spine booster. Now you are supposed to sort of push this down, and it will clip on to the actual kit itself. I'm not going to do that, just because I think it'll be a bit of a thing to pull it off. So if I want to live with it with the spine booster on, I certainly can. It adds a different dimensionality to it, I must say. I like the spine booster. I think that it's a fun aftermarket piece. So if you do want to do the spine booster, knock yourself out. I think it's a very simple build, guys. It only took me a day to put it all together, and another day just to get the decals on it, and get it all get it all sort of, you know, settled down. I will say that I could not for the life of me get the decals onto the hoses. Now I was able to do that on the on the rear here, on the engine pieces, I will here. Let me try to get in close here so that you can see this, because I think it is worth it. You can see I was successful in getting them on here. Now I used for that. I was having trouble with my Walthers, but I didn't have trouble with this. This worked like a charm on these. Now, the problem though is once you set that strong fit on here, you have no time to adjust or move anything. So make sure it's in place and get a little dab on it, and it'll suck it right up. Full disclosure on some of the decals, they just disintegrated on me. I don't know why. I have had a little bit of trouble in the past with the round tube decals. For the most part, they were fantastic. They went on like a charm. They settled down nicely, no silvering. They look pretty good. But unfortunately, I did get a little bit of disintegration on them. So anyway, that's what she looks like, complete and with her additional accoutrement, which they call the spine booster, and it is it's for the you know, it's for this kit. It's an add-on for this kit. Why they didn't make it in this scale as a complete, you know, as a complete kit, I don't know. Well, I do know. I do know. You know, I mean, it would add a lot to the base price, and I don't think they wanted that. But anyway, here she is, the 22-inch Eagle 2, and just a lot of fun to build. Now, getting back to the world of, as you recall, I think it was in the, you know, earlier on in one of the episodes, I think it was the second episode, I can't recall. It may have been the first. No, it was the second. I showcased some of the other stuff that was on the market. You know, obviously my hideously orange aftermarket tracksuit that had Moon Base Alpha on it. Some of the other scale models as well. Of course, we talked about a couple of those that are on the market that are in my stash. But what just arrived, well, let me, forgive me for a second, I'm going to put this behind me. No pun intended. And show you what just arrived. Now, you've all got it. Come on, you all went out and picked this up. You know you did. Here it is. And it just arrived from Steve at Cult TV Man. If you don't know Steve, you need to know Cult TV Man is the only place to go for a wide selection of these kits. And I don't get paid to say that. I just, as part of the community and having met Steve a couple of times, I think he's a terrific guy, and I just always enjoy seeing him, meeting him, and going to his website. But anyway, here it is. It is still in the plastic, so I haven't opened it up. I don't really do unboxings on this channel, but I was excited to get this, and I have a sneaking suspicion I'm going to be talking to my dear friend Randy Newbert over at Voodoo Effects about getting some lights in here, because I know he's working on a whole kit for that. And so Randy, if you're watching, I'm gonna be calling you, because I want this sucker lit up, and I might think about getting those buttons to actually work. That would be a huge thing to do. Now, I also have in my possession a screen, a tiny screen, and there's a terrific company on the market. I'm going to talk about their product at a different day, but these screens are now very reasonable. I mean, when I say reasonable, I mean $60 you can have an actual working screen in these kits. So I'm going to be thinking about that as well. But anyway, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this journey as much as I've enjoyed putting this kit together for myself, for my personal collection, but also for the channel. Not sure what we're doing next, to be honest with you. Big things happening for me next week. So if you do watch the channel and you are around, please stay tuned to World of Wayne's Thursday night chat, where we'll make a big announcement about our Orca build, hopefully. That'll be next Thursday. I'm not sure what time he'll hook me on the feed, but definitely talk about it. If you don't know who Wayne is at World of Wayne, you need to go over there and subscribe. Not only is it a fantastic channel with so much information about all the various different builds that are going on in the world of plug and play, you know, from Agora to Hachette to D'Agostini. Of course, Model Space is defunct here in the US. So, and then there's a bunch of others. He's doing a fire engine. He's doing the Ecto 1. He's doing the Enterprise D. He's doing a Zero. He's doing a Porsche, a Ferrari. I mean, the list goes on. And it's just hours of entertainment. And so please go check out World of Wayne. Follow me on Spruverse at Spruverse. My website is spruverse.com. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends to come over and hang. It's all things in the scale model universe here, from resin to plastic to wood. We do it all. And we do it with a lot of passion, a lot of fun, and we're learning too. You know, every week, every day, I come into the hobby shop and learn something. It just gets me really excited. Anyway, I've gone on long enough. Thanks for checking me out, and we will talk soon. But as always, please be well, be safe, build something, and I will see you next time. Take care, everybody.